Hello, everybody. My name is Mark LaPlante with Speed of Light Media, and you can see us at speedoflightmedia.com. I am here with Sam Del Rio, who's the Senior Internal Technical Trainer for ConnectWise. ConnectWise is one of our largest customers. They use the product throughout their organization. They use it for QA testing for the dev teams. They use it for sales demos for the sales engineering team, and they use it for internal training on Sam's team. So I asked Sam to come on board with me today to talk about how his team uses the product. And so from there, I'll kick it off. Sam, tell us a little bit about you, how long you've been with ConnectWise, and what you do there.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Mark. I've been with ConnectWise coming up on 14 years. Started out in our managed server team, moved to automate, and then had the opportunity to join our internal training team as the technical trainer, training on specifically manage and automate software components. So when we first started in that, we didn't really have a training program per se, a technical training program. We were putting everything together from scratch.
Right.
And so that's pretty much where we started, just from the ground up team.
Now, did you use this product right from the beginning, or did you introduce this a little bit later on?
No, we didn't. I wish we had from the beginning. We did not have the CloudLab product from the beginning, and I really wish we did. CloudLab has really allowed us to expand how we train. Right, as a trainer, there's 3 tenets. I want them to see it. They're going to hear it, but with CloudLab now they can feel it. Right? It adds that critical component of actually hands-on experience in a safe environment. All right. Prior to being on the training team, everything was on-the-job training. Everything you learned was on the partner systems, which is extremely not the best way to train, but there was no formalized setup. So let alone. Very risky, right? So now we're able to train both manage and automate and control, right? Just almost all of the products from CloudLab, and each trainee is now able to have an actual training setup that they can access, log into, and actually go through the steps with us, which has just greatly improved our ability to really train the products and be very successful at it.
The product is called Simplify CloudLab at speedoflightmedia.com. And Sam, show us, if you could share your screen and show me what a day in the life of Sam Del Rio looks like in your internal training group.
Sure thing. So what we're looking at here is our internal training business unit. And what we've done here for our training is we've set up preset apps or templates, right? We call them apps, application, based on our training needs, right? So we have triple split servers. So if we're doing advanced training on automate triple split, right? We have an app created for this, and we can spin it up and in the training, go ahead and use it to help configure. Or in train, right? Our tier 3 and emergency response teams on those very specialized types of setups. We've never been able to do that before. We also have.
Can we see what that triple split configuration looks like?
So what we have here in a triple split configuration, we have an automate front end. We have its back end. We also have, in this environment, we have a managed server, as well as just a stock, just a Windows server, so we can just have something to run scripts from automate and so forth. All of these would have agents, automate agents we can install on, but this allows us to pre-configure this environment. And we've gone so far as with Speed of Light's help, we've been able to create scripts that we put onto these apps that is able to read the information from Simplified CloudLab, right, and pull its FQDN, right, its external FQDN that we're using, and update, right, certain parts of the application so that when it's spin up, each copy gets its own external FQDN, fully set with SSL, and then we don't have to sit there and configure it, right? So the copy spins up and the script does everything for us, and each copy is independent of each other. It has saved us so much time because our classes are getting larger and larger. I would have to do that manually every single time before, and that was very, very time consuming.
So the nice thing about CloudLab is that everything in the user interface uses APIs to communicate with the server. Those APIs are also available to you to be able to do things like what you just described and customize your installations pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was that was one of the. We've had several instances where we call them game changers, right, for us in training. That was a huge game changer for us, and prep time, in getting ready for a particular class, and that we don't have to do so much prep work. I can literally spin these up the day before, have them ready, waiting for us. It really made a huge difference.
So
We also have
Automate is one setup. Yeah, go ahead. I think you were going to show me some others that you use.
Yeah, so we've recently working with Simplified Cloud Lab. We've been able to now set up an ESXi. This is something real exciting and new for us. And again, it's another game changer. We've never been able to do this before. Working with Simplified Cloud Lab has allowed us now to have environments where we have a Mac machine and an ESXi host. Which is, again, is going to allow us to train. These are things that we support in the Automate product, but we've never been able to train on because we've never had environments. It's all PowerPoint talk and, give them information, but now we're going to go through setup. We're going to be able to actually have them touch and feel this. And not only that, but then be able to give it to our support departments, right, to be able to say, well, I can see what you're talking about, because now they can actually have an environment they can actually test against. All right, that's huge, and both the company as a whole has never had that for either the Max or the ESXi. For us, that is a huge thing, and it's for us, it's a game changer. Again, it's one of those things that you hope for, and when it finally happens, your proof of concept comes to light, it's a major breakthrough for us.
Nice.
And having that
so
available.
You configure the app one time, and then you can spin up, say, 10 copies if you're having a class on ESXi. Spin up 10 copies, and each participant in the class gets their own copy to train on and work at their own pace, I assume.
Correct. Yeah. As we go through our in-classroom training, right, they're all following along. We're configuring everything together. Instead of it just being, hey, them just taking notes, which they do take, but now they actually have something they can touch, right, and actually go through the steps of configuring that muscle memory that you get from hearing it, seeing it, and now touching it, right? Actually able to do it. Really, all studies show that if you can hit all 3 points, right, those trainees, right, the people learning it, right, are 85 to 95% more likely to retain that knowledge. And that's huge when we're training on highly technical constructs, which are not easy to make sexy, right? Technical trainings are by definition boring. This allows us to do so much more and make it come alive to them.
I agree 100%, and I think that third part of actually putting my hands on the hands-on training piece, that's what I need to actually learn. And I can read a book and I can listen to somebody talk, but to actually put my hands on it is how I learn, and I think that's great.
Yeah, and most engineers are like that. They want that hands-on, to be able to touch it and actually play with it in a safe way. This allows us to do it. And if they mess up, cool, we delete it, we spin up another one, and we get them going. And it's very seamless. It's very quick. I don't have to wait a full day or nothing. I'm talking minutes, and it allows me to do that.
So show me a little bit about how you're organizing. It looks like you have a lot of apps and a lot of different people, a lot of different departments probably that you're training with.
Correct.
Keep all that straight.
So we've got everybody separated into business units, right? It allows us to keep things, number one, organized, right? I know what systems belong to who. All right, these are our systems that we utilize in the internal training. We also have our education department, which is our partner-facing education team, right? Internal training trains the colleagues internal, but we have an partner-facing education team when we have setups for them, where they're able to spin up and show partners. They have a couple of permanent setups that they keep on all the time that they up to date and use for different things. Like these new education builds, something they built for them. This is an automate and manage with workstations, and so this again allows them to have something for their road shows, for their demos, IT Nation events, which are all very critical, and it allows them to have this at a moment's notice, right? And it's all SSL, um, and so every one of these environments are full function. They're not just demo environments that have part functionality. Each one of these are full functioning to every piece of the software, and that's what CloudLab allows us to do, is have
and
that ability.
safely sandbox as well.
Safely sandbox, right? So and we're able to take snapshots to back it up, right? Into a new app, right? Version it if we need to.
Right.
So it gives us some flexibility and really gives us the ability to continue not only our learning, right? Because we as trainers, we have to continue learning ourselves. This gives us that ability not to continue our own learning safely, but also then impart that same knowledge onto others.
Right.
So we separate everything into business units by department. We have our Automate consulting team. They have their own setups. Automate Q&A, sales team, Automate support. Automate support is one of our bigger business units. Every single colleague in Automate support has their own testing copy. And they can use these to verify, okay, hey, are we having an issue that is application-based, workstation-based? You know, they can do their own testing. Yeah, is it reproducible, right? So this makes it very important and easy for them. And so a lot of these setups have both an Automate server and a managed server, as we have integrations between the applications. So, and each one of these are independent of each other, and they're all able to have these. And they all run a very effective, and we also have them scheduled, right? These gentlemen are not in at this time, right? So they're scheduled based on their work schedules. So which also helps us with billing and cost savings.
Right.
So it allows us to be very efficient with our setups. And so
you schedule them to shut down at certain times and things like that to save costs.
Correct. Yeah. So we set up a schedule, so they start up and shut down,
Nice.
right, at predetermined times based on that particular colleague's schedule, right? And each one of these has that. If there's a reason for something to be on all the time, then that gets a pre-approved, up. But there's that flexibility and that option to do that, which just helps us. And again, we separate them out by business unit. Each business unit here has their own billing codes with the company, so it corresponds to that. So as they're pulling reports, they know who exactly is responsible for that department, right? How they're doing. So
and how much they're spending.
And how much they're spending. So
Right.
There's accountability that's built into this. As far as the billing aspect, we also maintain security. Okay, as we build out a new business unit, we do create security groups, right? That will say, right, these people have access to X, right, within the system.
Right.
And so we built in security groups. We create these based on the needs of each department. All right. Okay. So if they need just admins, because that's all they're going to use it for, or if they have a need for having users, right? Our colleagues actually go in to do some things, then we can also set the permissions accordingly for that as well.
Right. So you, like almost the rest of the country, are working from home at this point. How much work did your internal IT have to do to configure this so that you guys could continue doing your jobs at home?
There was zero configuration needed. We had zero downtime with any of our Simplified CloudLab instances. So for us, it was seamless. I would have utilized it the same way as if it was in the office. So there was absolutely zero change and zero need to get our internal IT team involved. We have our firewalls pre-configured well before anything with COVID happened. So we were, there was zero change for us.
That's great. And I'm sure they appreciated it too. I'm sure they had their hands full getting everybody migrated
Yeah,
to the office.
yeah. So we were self-sufficient in this area.
Sam, I want to be cognizant of your time, and maybe you can just provide us some final words. What would you say to somebody who's considering using Simplify CloudLab for their internal training?
For me, I can tell you it has been a tremendous benefit to our internal training team in that we've been able to expand what we've been able to train on, right? Because now we have actual environments, different types of environments that we can actually use now, and we've never been able to do that before. It's allowed us to be more efficient with our trainings. Our trainees, our engineers come out of training so much better prepared to do their job. There's a lot less lead time in their ramp up, right? There's always a ramp up period, but there's a lot less of that because they've had so much hands-on experience during the training using Simplified Cloud Lab, building their own servers that they eventually keep. They're building their own servers they get to keep for use in their daily job. So they become very intimately aware of the environments, what it can do, what it can't do, what it's supposed to do. They're so much better prepared to hit the floor running than we've ever had before. And we've expanded not just to support, but we've done trainings for QA, for sales team, for our platform team. So what we do has brought tremendous value to the company and what we call partner success, because we're turning out engineers who are so much more better prepared. So if you're thinking about doing training and you're looking to use Simplified Cloud Lab, for me, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute yes. It's flexibility in what it allows me to do and how I can better enhance my trainings, right? And build my apps and have them ready to go in a moment's notice has just been invaluable to us. It's really been a major game changer for us and allowing us to be way more effective than we ever were before we had Cloud Lab.
That's great, Sam. Again, I appreciate your time today. I know you're a busy guy. Got a lot of training going on. Again, that's Sam Del Rio from ConnectWise, one of our favorite customers, and that's speedoflightmedia.com. And thanks again, Sam.
Yeah, you're quite welcome, Mark, anytime.
All right.